I always say it over and over and over again that we have the best clients, and we do. Last week I'd sent out a video or an email, and I talked about what was the best way for us to bill out the expenses of me going to the sale, because when we go to the sale, we know how much the taxes are going to be. We roughly know how much the shipping is going to be. We can ask Doyle or Walter, whoever's shipping. They can give us an approximate amount. So everything attributed to the purchase of a horse, we know how much it's going to be, except when you take my expenses in, so my hotel or my food or whatnot, gas if I'm driving there, how much it costs me to be there. And of course, our clients know that I don't ask to get paid to come and do the job that I do with the sales, because it's my job. But at the same time, the expenses attributed to that job obviously need to be put onto those horses that we purchase. But I can't charge it before the sale because I have no idea. That's weird. I have no idea how much those charges are going to be. I can't do it during the sale, because if it costs me $1,200 to go to the sale, it's not the same charge if I buy 10 or 5, right? So it's a very difficult thing to lock down. And also, I can't do it afterwards, because there are some clients that buy shares and then sell them within the first day, 2, 3, 4. That bothers some clients a little bit, but we've built an open market. I certainly have no problem with people doing that. They're more than, what the hell is going on with my phone? They're more than welcome to do that. We've built the stable for them to do that. We've built the market for them to do that. But how do we expense out those expenses? A lot of our clients, I bet you I had 25 emails from people with great ideas. Some saying you should lock the shares for 7 days when you buy them, which is fine. I suppose we can do that. Some people saying you should put a flat rate on each purchase of each horse. Yeah, we could do that, but if you're saying, and then at the end of the day you could win or lose, right? Because the flat rate, if I bought one, which I'm not buying, but if I bought one, I'd be losing money. If I bought 10, I'd be making money. I don't want either. I just want to recoup those expenses. And you guys know how I feel about administration fees and things of that nature. I try to treat everybody the way I want to be treated. And I think that's fair, isn't it? I think it goes all the way back to the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. But I hate looking at any bill, whether it's my phone bill or satellite TV bill, and see administration fees. May as well just put gouge. This is my gouge fee. I don't like that. You know what I mean? I don't need to drive a sports car or live in a mansion off of training horses for people that are involved to have fun. And many of them are budgeting in such a way that they can afford that fun. And all I want to do is recoup my expenses. So I think I have to talk to Kelly and Greg and Eric and a couple of our clients that probably have a real good handle on this. You know, what's best for everybody. And I suspect we'll get to the bottom of it. It'll likely be all the fees that we talked about, shipping, taxes, whatnot. Those are constant. We can nail those down. And then that fee is the toughest one, though, right? Because it's got to be divided by however many horses you get. So maybe a disclaimer when you buy a horse that this fee will be on there at the end of the sale. Here's how much it cost me to be in Lexington for the week next week. Here's the total cost: food, hotel, Uber, gas, whatever. Divide that by how many horses. Lock those shares for 72 hours or 96 hours or a week, whatever, so that we can get those expenses on there. I think that's probably the best way to do it, but I certainly will take any recommendations also from you out there. You guys have been fantastic about giving me some help with that and in that, so I appreciate that. Also, we've had people ask, Anthony, what groups are you making? I don't understand exactly. Many of you don't know there's a group in the midst, in the stable, called the Global Group. That group was built, I guess not at a necessity, but I guess so, at a necessity. We're always trying to branch out in different ways, and I think someday, and don't hold me to it, please, someday we'll probably own a couple of thoroughbreds if we can figure out the way to do it. We own some expensive horses. We own a lot of horses that are not, that you would say were modestly purchased and then sold out quickly. So keep in mind, we already have tons of groups within the group. We have the people that are value purchasers, like me. We have the people that are looking for stronger pedigrees and conformation and are willing to pay a premium. Those people are in our midst also. And although we do not subscribe to a site or a stable that is based solely on return on investment, we do have people that are trying to make money at the stable. It's not a horrible thing, is it? But I obviously like to stick to what I can guarantee, what I'm comfortable and confident we can do, and that is to give everybody a great experience, right? An unmatched experience in society as far as entertainment goes. And I think we can provide that, and we can follow through on that most every time. So we do have these groups inside the stable. We just don't segregate them, right? We don't talk about them. We don't talk about one group and another group. There's no need to. Everybody's in it together. The one thing that I love about the stable, the one thing I love about the stable is it appears everybody cheers for everybody else. So we are one big stable, but in that stable there are a number of subsections, if you will. So one of those groups is, as I said, people that are looking for a little stronger pedigree. A lot of these horses we buy, maybe a couple of foals are okay in the first dam, but the second and third dams are stocked. And that's where we find a lot of value, right? First foals, first time sires, again, a lot of value. But with that value comes risk. It's risky anyway. This group are people that are a little more interested in stronger pedigree throughout. Great conformation, good sire, great mare. And obviously with those check marks come high prices, come high risk. Not something I would be lining up to do if I had $100,000 to my name, or even if I had $100,000 of disposable income. I'm not sure I would be spending 90 of it on a racehorse. But 9 people might spend $10,000 each. 5 people might spend 20. 2 people might spend 50, I suppose. You know where I'm going with this. So there are times when we do buy horses that are a little more pricey, and I'll be the first to admit, in the past, that has not worked out great. Our Vica was a $57,000 purchase. Now, having said that, I think maybe there's not quite as much of a difference as we think between the low end of the perceived top tier of breeding and conformation and the top end of the middle of the road. Not to mention a well-conformed yearling by a first-time sire out of a decent mare can throw as good a horse as anybody. Look at Sister Sledge, $35,000 yearling, right? Globetrotting 21. We can do this all day. But we do have groups within our group. So we do have a list of maybe 12 or 15 people that are interested in what they might categorize is maybe a little more of a monetary risk, but less of a pedigree and conformation risk. Meaning, a horse that is supposed to go for a lot of money, maybe we can get it for a little less than a lot, which I suppose is value in its own right by definition alone, but a lot of risk. You're risking a lot of money on a racehorse. And we're all big boys and girls, and as long as I'm as crystal clear as I can be moving forward about the risks attributed to every horse, I can't do much more than that now, can I? So yes, anytime somebody says, have you ever thought of, would you be interested in looking at a horse that's a little more pricey? Yes, I would. I'm a trainer at heart. I want to have great horses. And we're going to try and build the strongest stable we can, any way we can do it. And if people are confident enough, and I'm humbled by that, but if you're confident enough that the stable.ca can race with the best trainers in the world, and you want to buy us the best horses in the world, I'm not going to tell you no. So, we do have a group of people that are interested in buying one, maybe two, maybe a trotter, maybe a pacer also. That is of the higher end, at least at the yearling sales. Now the old adage is they don't know how much they cost when they get to the burn and you start breaking them. You're right. They all start from square one. Classy horses, you can tell the difference. It's funny, I jogged Miss Meringue the other day. Broke her. She was in the harness for 20 minutes. Jogged her. Just like a 4-year-old. Head down, playing. Come in, bathed her off. She was a little skittish around water. A lot of these horses have only been hand bathed. Have never been sprayed off with a hose, so they can get a little squirrely. Only for a second. She acclimated to that immediately. You know, and all day she had her head over the gate, almost watching. It was weird. Almost watching all the other horses go out. And you can tell a classy, well-bred horse over some of the other horses, right? That doesn't mean that she's going to be faster than the other horses, but it's just something to watch. And Miss Meringue, obviously, as I said, I thought she was the best trotter in the sale. I thought she was a 6-figure horse, and we bought her for $60,000. Now, will that happen again in Lexington? Likely not. I was going to say maybe not. Likely not. But I do have my eye on a number of horses. Now, you have to keep in mind, a lot goes into purchasing a horse at a sale, right? For me, I'm looking, this thing's not working right. I'm looking at a number of things. Placement in the sale is very important, right? There's been horses we've had to pass on because those particular horses came after other horses we were looking at, and I couldn't pull the trigger, or before other horses we were looking for, I couldn't pull the trigger on those horses. One, the price was getting up just a little bit high, maybe still in our comfort zone, but when I put it against what we're looking to do in 30 hips, 40 hips, 50 hips, I couldn't pull the trigger. So timing is a big thing at a sale. Where is the horse positioned in the sale catalog in respect to other horses you're looking at? Secondly, there's political things that go into a sale also, right? The consignor, where the horse has been raised, at what farm, how many eyeballs are going to be on the horse at the sale. Obviously, Hanover has a lot of attention. You know, Diamond Creek, even Blue Chip. I don't want to miss anybody. A couple of giant consignors at Harrisburg also. The Mears family that crushed last year at the sale. A lot of people come to their consignments. Now, if you have a well-bred, good-looking horse and a smaller consignment, again, that plays a role. Everything in society today seems to play a role, doesn't it? And when it comes to some of the horses I'm looking at value in every single aspect you can find it. Where is this horse located in the sale? Who is consigning it? Where was it raised? How does it look? These are the types of things I have to go over nonstop in my head when I'm at the sale. And that's just a projection of what the horse is going to bring. You are going to be on the spot right now. Horse is in the ring for what? 45 seconds to 3 minutes? You've got to make your mind up. You've got to have a decision ready at hand. You've got to be able to push the button when it needs to be pushed. And that is what I do. That's what I do at the sale. And I think we've done pretty good at that, all things considered. So Miss Meringue, although I had said to you going in the ring, thought she was a 6-figure filly, we're not going to be able to afford her, but when opportunity presented itself and she was stuck at $52,000, I was more than willing to jump in and get moving. We ended up getting her for $60,000, which is still well below what that filly should have brought in the richest jurisdiction in North America, because that's what Ohio is right now. So there are some horses that I'm looking at the sale. I'll be looking at a couple of pacers, a couple of trotters. These horses are going to be really expensive. When we get to the sale, I'll probably have the vet do some x-rays of the horses and get back to our clients that are looking for them. I think we do have the interest to buy them, same as we did 2 years ago. Now, I'll be full disclosure. We bid on a cadaver filly. Do you remember that on Facebook Live? We bid on a cadaver filly that went for $135,000, and I lost out. Nifty Norman and Marvin Katz got the horse. She was sold for, I think, $30,000 at the public auction 6 months later. No good. I was the underbidder at... No, I wasn't the underbidder. There was a beautiful Uncle Peter colt. They changed his name. I forget it now. Doesn't matter. Everybody's going to forget it soon. He went for $120,000, I believe. We were out at $95,000 American. I had the $95,000 bid. Obviously missed by quite a bit. But the end of the story is what matters. He was sold 6 months later at public auction for $6,500. So this game is not for the faint of heart. But at the same time, there are good horses out there, and there's good horses made, and there's good horses purchased every sale, every day. And anytime we can get a leg up, we're gonna take that opportunity. So we are building groups. We do have a group of people right now that are in place to purchase a horse that has the license to be a good horse, is supposed to be, or hopefully going to be a good horse. And when you start checking those boxes, good sire, good dam, great pedigree, great conformation, looks good, presents well, every one of those boxes you check comes with a dollar sign. And the horses we're looking at are probably north, hopefully just north, but north of six figures. And we will be bidding on and likely buying one or two of them. And I want to make that known to everybody. It's obviously not a secret, but at the same time, these are substantial investments. So, that out of the way, I want to make sure I answer all the questions people have been asking. Who are the groups? What are the groups? That's one of them right there. And anytime we like a horse, there's a couple of horses I really like, specifically like. They're later on in the sale. These are hopeful value purchases, but at the same time, anytime that we are looking to buy a horse, it is always best for you to reach out and say, Anthony, I'm interested in this horse. What's your hard line? What's your price point on this horse? And when we converse, if you like that price point, say, I would take 5% of that horse, or 10%, or 1% of that horse. People lost out last week with Miss Meringue because she was sold the day after the sale, and people were like, well, I wanted to get 1%. I felt terrible. The breeder of Miss Meringue called me wanting to buy a stake in Miss Meringue. I couldn't sell her any. There's a filly, she bred the filly. I felt terrible, but if you're interested in any of the horses that we have, it's easy just to send me a list. Say, hey, what's your price point on this one, or these three, or these five? What are they? And then in turn, follow up again with me, because please bear in mind, during these sales, I get hundreds of emails. Now, Kelly has built the Sale Hub. I believe in the Sale Hub. You'll be able to leave those messages. I'm not positive. You can always email me anyway. But the Sale Hub should be a way, I guess, for you to leave those messages. I'm interested in X% of hip number, whatever, at the price point Anthony talked about. Or if you want to leave a price point, that's fine. Say up to this amount. I'm interested in this percentage of the horse. And that's the easiest way to ensure that you get in on those horses. So that's it. We have the Sale Hub. Curtis is coming down. We're going to have a decent production for Lexington. It should be real cool. Something I'm really interested in. We're going to continue to change the way we bring our clients information, and people of the industry information also. I always think it's neat. I get people emailing me all the time saying, why do you tell people who you're looking at? These are the people bidding against you. Okay. One, I don't tell them how much I'm bidding, and two, most importantly, why wouldn't they just buy the horses with us? Why bid against us? If you know that I'm bidding on hip 26 and you're bidding on hip 26, why wouldn't you just email me and say, hey, I'd be interested in buying a piece of that colt, unless you don't want us to have the horse, and then bid away. But at the end of the day, we've built a lot of relationships and forged a lot of friendships in that exact manner, and I'm very interested in doing business like that. So that's an update on a number of things. One, the way the expenses are still some questions surrounding that, but the way that our clients believe the expenses should be doled out in the best way, and really the only expense we're talking about is my expense for being at the sale. I'm not charging anybody to come to the sale, but I do need my expenses covered. I think that's fair. So there's that, and then obviously the groups, what the groups are, who they're made up of, what we're doing. When I talk about groups, it could be groups of anybody. If I like hip number 751 at Lexington, and we have a number of people involved with number 751 that have said they want in on this horse for this amount of money, that's a group. The groups that I'm mostly talking about, though, are the ones that are going to be formed to go after specific hip numbers in the sale. I do have specific hip numbers I'm looking at. I do have a price point I'm looking at right now. That price point will be firmed up when I get a look at the horse on site in person next weekend. Sale starts on Tuesday. Please don't hesitate. If you want to come to the sale, you want to come out, you want to follow us around, want to hang out, talk, get something to eat, have a beer, socialize. I'm around. I'm not too busy. You're not going to be under my feet or in my way. The more, the merrier. So, that's a number of things we've talked about so far, and I haven't even got to the horses yet. So, I'll be back in just a minute. No, I won't. I lied. I'll be back at some point. I can't read and drive, obviously, so I can't talk about specific horses. I don't mind doing my openings in this manner, but obviously it would be unsafe for me to be driving and reading, driving down the road and reading. So that's it. That's it for the videos. An opening video talked about last night, which I don't know what day you're looking at this, but the OSS for the fillies had a good night, had a good rebound to the end of the week. Looking to start off the first of the week with a bang also. And that's it. So I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll be back at some point, whether I get to some of these at the Meadows or when I get home from Pennsylvania tonight. We will go over all the horses. With the babies, you know what's going on. You have the semifinals, a couple of stake races, you have the Breeders' Crown for globetrotting and a prep race in between. For the most part, our horses are either shut down, going out to the field, or only got a couple more starts left. I know there was some push for Frontier Cruise to race in the Autumn Series. He doesn't fit that series. The Harvest Series, I'm not racing him in. That's the non-winners at 2 or 30. That's too tough for that horse in that class. So Frontier Cruise, given his penchants lately to want to injure people, I guess. He's rearing up and striking at people. We may have to castrate him and turn him out for the season. That may not be a bad thing. That horse has had a real hot finish to the year. Been a good horse for us. If we get him raced once more, great. If we don't, we don't. But for the most part, we'll be transitioning out of the racing of the 2-year-olds into turning them out for a couple of months. And then, as you know, we're well into the belly of the beast as far as sale season is concerned. So that's it. I'll be back in a little while at some point to talk to you about all the horses, what they're doing, what they're up to, where they're going, and what is next for all of them and all the stables. Take care.